Mena RD, he does it again. Listen, if you called Mena RD winning Capcom Cup IX being the only two-time Capcom Cup champion and cementing himself as the Street Fighter V GOAT, you didn't call it. You're a liar. No one called this. No one at all. All right, so here is where USA can't catch a break. Let me break down what happened again, guys. EU just does whatever they can to ensure that USA can't get a big win. Go back to EVO 2022. Idom is by far the favorite to go off against Kawano in grand finals. People are looking at Kawano and Idom as the two favorites for sure to win the event. Then what happens? Ryan Hart, out of nowhere, puts Idom and losers off stream. Idom still manages to have the run of a lifetime to go to EVO Grand Finals, reset against Kawano, get it down to last game, last round, and to barely not claim the EVO trophy for USA. Now, fast forward to Capcom Cup later in the year. In the groups, Idom is cooking. He's cooking pretty much everybody 2-0, 2-0 until Takamura from Belgium in EU beats Idom last game, last round with great V-shift reads, amazing wake-up options. He mixed them on wake up every time. Wake up jab, wake up EXTP, wake up V-shift. Idom couldn't get a read on his defense whatsoever. And Takamura goes undefeated in this group, and Idom then is forced to go down to losers. Look at this. Look at the stats here. Takamura is 5-0 with a 10-5 game count, 66% win rate. Idom is a 9-2 game count, 81% win rate. Look at the difference in that. Idom is so dominant in the group, but he lost the critical games, and that really shaped this bracket path entirely. Being a losers, it's so difficult to make that marathon run. And then, of course, we have Mena just dominating. Ending Walker was looking amazing this weekend as well. So we finally got to see the 16-year-old prodigy go at it. Cooked NL. I say cooked, it was a close match. NL was playing amazing. And then Mena took Ending Walker down. Kawano versus Zhen. Oh my God. What is wrong with this kid? This needs to be a bigger story. Zhen attended the LCQ and nobody knew who he was. Not a single person knew who this guy was. Okay? The LCQ had players like Tokido, Kichipamu, Gashi-kun, a ton of amazing players. Nemo, Zhen, maybe like a Brian F. From all of them, we had this guy show up. Now, let me get into the bracket because this is an important match in the LCQ, actually. There's some hidden lore here you don't know. To get out of pools on winner's side, Zhen beat Problem X 2-1. Problem X played mostly, I think, only Alex. I don't know if he played Bison originally, but Zhen is like the Bison right now, and Problem X decided to go with Alex. If you don't know, Zhen used to be Fake Problem X. Fake Problem X was his CFN name. You can see here his flag, it's pixelated, it's minimized. He has the Chinese flag right there. Fake Problem X, Grandmaster rank. Early 2020, Fake Problem X, right here. I used to play this guy in ranked. So I think the idea was that he was in Canada as an exchange student for a while. So he is Chinese. I think he was in Canada studying for a bit. And then he returned back to China after having a stay for a while in North America. So I used to play this guy. I remember playing him, and a bunch of the players remembered Fake Problem X. We all thought it might have been a different player, Happy Medicine, who was a strong USA Bison. Because we're trying to figure out who's like all the good Bisons in NA and like who would be smurfing under Fake Problem X. So he's a fan of Problem X. And he used to play net play in North America, and we would play him in ranked, and he was good, but he wasn't like top 2 in the world good, right? He was very strong, but this was a different level. What we saw at Capcom Cup was just a different level, so it was very tough to piece these bits of evidence together and understand that this random net play monster who was trying to, ride Problem X's coattails became Zhen. He stopped being Fake Problem X the moment he beat Problem X. He was the real deal. He secured his own identity right here. He goes on to beat Broski, Gachi-kun, Shuto, who was unstoppable in Japan for a while, and then Kichipa. This run is already ridiculous, but this begins his week-long run of just not losing. So he goes into the group. He has Big Bird, Mortzi, Momochi, Hiko, and Mono. And I believe he comes out of this undefeated. Mono and Momochi managed to get 1 game on him, but undefeated in sets. So he wins a whole tournament through winners, losing no sets. He gets out of groups, undefeated in sets, dominating, and that's over multiple days. So he's gone 5 days at this point without losing. And finally, the top 16 begins. He beats the Evo champion in a dominant 3-1 finish. Angry Bird 3-0. 3-0 over Angry Bird. Again, then finally drops to Mena, the one person who could figure out how to approach this young prodigy from China in winners finals, and then again in grand finals. Meanwhile, Idoms and losers, because Takamura got the better of him. Takamura unfortunately pieces out after getting top 16 winners, losing to Mena and Mr. Crimson. Idom then goes on to body Bugera, have an amazingly close set against VX Bow, where I thought he was done for. Vega Patch, EU, I was saying they're always ruining it for America, but he did a solid for us this time. Vega Patch took down Kawano in a huge upset, played amazing, so that Idom didn't have to go into Kawano, and Idom was just more ready for the Fong matchup. Ending Walker Idom 3-1, but it was close. I was worried about this set by far. Ending Walker takes down or loses to Idom there. Amazing run from Ending Walker. Once again, Ending Walker's the other prodigy here. He is 16 years old, playing Ed. This is his 3rd offline event ever, and he ends up getting 5th at Capcom Cup, losing only to the first place person and the one who should have won first place, Idom. Idom then beats Mr. Crimson, but then Zhen goes up against Idom and cooks him. I was devastated. Listen, I was losing my mind this whole Capcom Cup, losing my voice in the process. Idom just couldn't get started. Zhen's offense and defensive reads were just too good the entire time. Idom just got outplayed. Idom admitted it after I talked to him. He said Zhen just outplayed me. He just showed up and Idom couldn't compete. Goes on to grand finals. USA's hopes and dreams are dead, but NA is still protected thanks to one Mena RD. Not gonna lie, I think the story would have been a little bit sweeter if Zhen got 3rd place. If he had won the whole thing, it would have been great. I personally think it's better when the person who comes out of nowhere doesn't peak too soon. Showing up out of nowhere and winning the whole thing, I think it's a bit too much. If you immediately win out of nowhere, I think that sets you up for failure in the future. The expectations grow to be too much to overcome. Now he has something to work forward to. Now he has a future. Now everyone's eyes are going to be on him to see if he can top this next time, right? Narratively, I think it would have been more powerful if Zhen got 3rd, and then we had Idom versus Mena, the 2 Capcom Cup champions, having the showdown in the finals to see who will be the repeat champion. Obviously, I'm hella biased because I wanted Idom to win for USA by far, but I think it would have been better because Zhen honestly was downloaded by Mena. Mena's offensive placements, he woke up CA 5 times, I believe, and all 5 of them landed. He knew exactly when to challenge. His jump pressure, he landed so many jump cross-ups. Zhen's anti-airs with Bison were amazing. Bison's not known for his best anti-airs, but Mena would basically always find these perfect angles where Crouching Fierce would absolutely lose to the jump in and would always find the right spot to get the jump. Yeah, Mena was just like, he just had it totally controlled. I would have loved to have seen a Mena Idom set because Idom had been beating the crap out of Mena their past couple of showings, and I think we would have got a reset, and then I think Mena would have made it close. I think the grand finals would have been a much bigger spectacle with Idom in grand finals. Zhen just didn't have the answer for Mena at all at that point, which is crazy because he was looking so dominant. Like nobody had any idea what to do against him whatsoever. And then it was like the tables had completely flipped when he went up against Mena. Something about the way Mena approached the matchup, like it was actually so dominant. So narratively, it was almost like the perfect Capcom Cup to me, almost, but I would have loved Idom Mena grand finals. I think it would have been so cool having Kaba cheering against the rest of the crowd with USA. I think it would have been just beautiful in my opinion. 2 champions going at it to be the only repeat champ ever. I think it would have been so ridiculous, but I'm still super happy for Zhen. It's still an amazing story. I wouldn't be able to talk to you right now, guys, if Idom had been there in grand finals. My voice is still recovering. Yeah, it would have been Kaba versus the entire venue. It would have been so sick. It would have been amazing. But I had a great time watching it. How about you guys at home? Was it fun to watch? I saw a little bit of Twitter around that time. A lot of people were saying that they really enjoyed this Capcom Cup. Amazing tourney. It was pretty fun the last day. I was a little unsure of the group format. I did not like how they did the groups in phases instead of just completing blocks of groups at a time. So having the players play every single day a little bit at a time, I felt like was dragging it out. So the early phases of the Capcom Cup were very not exciting, but the top 16 of course delivered. I do like the groups for the fact that it gave the players more exposure. So I think that was good, so that everyone who showed up got to play a lot of games and got to be on the stage. So I think that was a good balance with the top 16, because double elimination, you can't beat the hype of a double elimination. So I like the balance of the groups, but I think they should have just finished group A, B on day one, group C, D on day two, etc., etc. Yeah, I think we had a discussion about how many Lukes there would be in top 8. I forgot what I said. 2 sounds like something I would say, but I can't recall. How many Lukes will make top 8 at Capcom Cup? I'm saying 2 max. I think 2 Lukes max. Oh, there's also some interesting hidden lore with some of the moments that came out of this Capcom Cup. Idom, the US goes to Street Fighter 5, but we're missing Knuckle Doodang. I took this photo. There were many things consumed at this bar. Punk had a heart-to-heart with Idom. Kawana was there saying, hey, we got more shots at the bar here. Idom said, take this photo. But more than that, I took this photo as well. If you don't know what happened here, Momochi was on the verge of being eliminated from Capcom Cup in groups. The way the math worked out is that he needed Big Bird to lose his set against Mono. Mono had no chance of qualifying for Capcom Cup, and it was the last match of the groups. They had the most butt-clenching set of probably the entire group stage. Mono ends up winning with one clutch light kick at the very end of the set. They're both down to the last hit, and then it results in Big Bird being eliminated from Capcom Cup. Momochi was on the side of the stage the entire time cheering Mono on. You could see him going like, oh, yes. And then I'm sitting here. This is the general seating area. Me and Mono were sitting here talking about the match. And he's like, oh, man, I feel a little bad, but I did what I had to do. I'm going to compete. And then Momochi comes up to us, hands me his phone, and says, picture. And then I took this picture. A lot of the photos that popped off from this weekend, I took the photos. I was just the camera guy. Oh, they had me do this moment. I know I got on the mic with Rob eventually to talk for a short segment, but we had this short little moment.
M from South Africa, and of course, Valmaster from France has something different to say. I mean, that's as high as the drama is possibly going to get.
I caught the betrayal from Rob. That was supposed to be us, Rob. What's going on here? I thought we were the duo. But it's funny because like the production guys, they told me, they're like, oh, we're about to do a bit right here. You want to like come through and walk through? So I knew about it ahead of time. Now Rob didn't know about this. I mean, we got back on the mic. We talked a little bit after Group F, FGC scripted a little bit. I ran into this guy, ISO Kenny. If you don't know about ISO Kenny, he's like a hip hop artist and does R&B stuff, but he does a bunch of like social media type, meme raps too and things of that nature. So he does the YouTube shorts and things like that. So I found him on YouTube shorts, and I actually like a lot of his stuff on YouTube shorts. So I watch him a lot. I'm subbed to him on YouTube, and he was just sitting there, and I was like, bro, are you ISO Kenny? I was like, what the hell? So we chopped it up for a little bit. He even subbed to my channel, so we talked YouTube game a little bit. He said he's working with Xset with Idom, so he did like a little thing with Idom. So it was just mad random. I was like, whoa, what the hell? So I thought that was pretty awesome to meet him. Oh yeah, I also got to meet Nakayama and Matsumoto, so that was pretty cool. This is after the Capcom Cup concluded. They let us hang out for a bit. There's Idom Travis right there. Matsumoto and I and ROF actually had a really long conversation. Nakayama, I didn't get to speak to that much. I think he went on to do whatever. But Matsumoto and I, we actually got to have a pretty long conversation, talk about some Street Fighter stuff, talk about some Street Fighter 6. We asked him, it was like, who do we blame for Luke? There's some stuff I wouldn't go into details, but he did say that Luke was planned for Street Fighter 6 first and then brought to Street Fighter 5. I was like, huh, so you made him broken on purpose. I didn't say that part, but I was like, I started reading through the lines here. I was like, well, so you made the character for 6, and then you said we should put him in 5 because we have an extra season. Why don't we make him super fucking broken? Because he's nothing like that in 6. He's nothing like that in 6 at all. He didn't say all that though. This is my own subjective interpretation here. I think he said the person who made Luke also made Oro. So I was like, oh man, I guess I gotta forgive him. It's like that meme, like when I gotta take out the guy who made Luke in Street Fighter 5, but he also made Oro. How was Street Fighter 6 there? Was it fun? I did get to play a lot of Street Fighter 6. The problem is the cabs that they have out there are very laggy. As you can see back here, there was a ton of Street Fighter 6 cabs. But these cabs are the same cabs they had at Evo. They're so laggy. It is horrendous to play on. They also have these razor sticks that feel like, to do a quarter circle, it feels like I have to, like I'm mixing cookie batter and I have to rotate the spatula around the bowl to make an action occur. It feels so strange. So my movement is extremely imprecise. I can't do quarter circles. I'm messing up inputs constantly, and the monitors are so laggy. I've complained about that so many times. Now I understand that these things are more meant for casual audiences to hop on and have fun, right? But when you take this to Capcom Cup, it feels bad. So to us, it makes the game feel bad. I did not want to play Street Fighter 6 on here. However, here's the tech. Right there, that's a monitor. There was 2 setups here. One on this couch, it's like a circular couch that sits like 6, 8 people. Stairs in the middle, then another setup over there. Same thing, circular couch with a monitor on there and 2 sticks. Those setups were good because they're on monitors that were meant for gaming. Whatever these TVs are, terrible. So I would only play on these couch setups here. I would sit down and try to play here. Also, the streaming setups that they provided, Capcom provided upstairs, you went up here to like behind the production room, behind the staff area, and they had stream setups up on the second floor where I streamed from a couple of times, which was very cool, and I'm thankful for that. Those setups were just like these setups here, very playable, playing the game. Street Fighter 6 already has a little bit of extra input delay compared to Street Fighter 5, so having that on top of these laggy monitors, I refuse to play. Day one I played here, I didn't play it on these setups a single time after that. Horrible. Horrible. When I was playing Street Fighter 6 on these arcade cabs, I was like, man, I wish I was playing Street Fighter 5 right now. That's the one complaint I have, of course, is being the turbo nerd that I am. I wish we could have just played Street Fighter 5. I did not get to play as much Street Fighter 5 as I would have hoped. They did have a player room in the hotel, which is not by here. The Sheraton was about like 3 miles away where all the players are staying. At the Sheraton, they have a room down below the lobby where they have rows and rows and rows of PC setups, at least 35 setups in there. And it's of course for the SFL qualified players and the Capcom Cup qualified players, right? So it's not for me. I didn't qualify for anything. I don't belong in there. But there's nowhere else to play. We have these players from all over the world, and there's nowhere to connect and play Street Fighter 5. I wanted to play Street Fighter 5 so bad. I was hanging out with Veggie on Monday night. This is day 3 of the 9 days I was there. Veggie said, look, I can get you in. I can say you're my +1. Don't worry, we'll get in there. I go down to get in there. Rejected. Frame 1. Veggie said, oh no, I'm trying to practice Street Fighter 5 for the tournament with him. He has a matchup I gotta play. Yeah, Oro in the Capcom Cup, you know. And they said, well, does he have his ID? Is he in the hotel? And I was interrogated. I was grilled. I said, don't you see the mustache? Don't you know who I am? I didn't say any of that. I just left. Eventually, I mustered up the courage to try to sneak in again. Travis had the black wristband. That's the one you need to be a player. Travis snuck me an extra one, and I got another one. And when I tried again, like on Friday or something like that, no one checked me. I just walked in and played. So it was kind of luck of the draw. But the room was empty. There's so many setups in there. I was like, bro, like let me play the fucking game. And I had an Uber there to go play the game. So you couldn't play Street Fighter 5 here at all. And I think that was a huge miss, especially in the group stages when there was hardly anybody here. So it was disappointing because I think Street Fighter 5 is an amazing game. It's in a beautiful spot. We had players from all over the world that I have not seen in years and under one roof to play. So I barely got to play Street Fighter 5 for how much time I was there, which is really disappointing. And that's one thing I always dislike about the production of these events. I think the final state production was amazing, but the group phases, like for the hardcore people, just let us play the game. We're there to play the game. We want to appreciate the players as well, but give us, that's the water cooler that we gather around, right? We gather around the setup. It's so strange to me that keeps being missed at this level. Yeah, and it's starting to hit the point where it's impacting player performance. Like you're saying, Joe, it was hard to warm up, right? So the best room to warm up was at the hotel 3 miles away. And then I think they had some weird setups there at the main venue here. There were some isolated setups for the players, but they were like freezing cold conditions, and you couldn't get players in there to practice with them. So it's just strange. That was my one critique. On the finals day itself, it was awesome. Obviously, the double elimination bracket, all eyes are glued to the screen. So that was different. So I understand on the final day. So I get that. And it was a cool stage. The production was amazing. feel like they made the players feel like rock stars, so that was cool. This trip cost me like 1.5K. I was hoping for more opportunities to play. Exactly. Like the reason people hang out at tournaments is so they can play. We can't forget that. That's one thing we can't lose sight of that. We need water and we need setups. So yeah, I think that's all I have about the Capcom Cup itself. All things considered, I had a good time. A lot of cool storylines. This dude's mom is Chun-Li. He came up to me, he's like, hey, what's up, Brian? My mom's Chun-Li from the Street Fighter 2 movie. I said, what? I was like, that's a crazy way to open. And then I met this guy. Not the best picture, huh? I met this dude too. He seemed nice. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cool to catch up. We'll get back to the regular grind and doing content and this, that, and the third soon enough. So I appreciate all the subs, resubs, all the support. Good to be back. Hope you guys missed me, and I'll catch you next time. Later, everybody. Peace.